Welcome back to the Graham Stephan Show. And we got to talk about this because it's happening a lot more often. And that's that people are faking being rich. That's right. You can now rent a car for a few $100s and post it on Instagram because you rented it out for an hour. You could even rent the interior of a private jet. So you could take photos of it, take a few videos, put it online without actually having to fly in a private jet. It's mind-blowing, okay? But a lot of these things are cropping up lately, and it's making you feel inferior. Because if you go online and you start scrolling, you're like, why does this guy have a Lamborghini? Why does this guy have a private jet? How is everyone buying these iced-out AP watches that might cost like 50, 60 grand? And I'm here chugging away at 30 bucks an hour. I might be doing something wrong. Well, that brings me to this video here. Her name is Charlotte Holdcroft. I just came across this video. I wanted to comment on it because the title is People Are Faking Wealth in 2024. You're Not as Poor as You Feel. So with that said, I'll link to her video down below in the description. Let's talk about this as soon as you hit the like button and subscribe. That's all I ask for. Thank you so much, and now let's begin.
Welcome to today's video, where I'm going to be spilling all of the tea on why everybody else isn't richer than you and why you're not as poor as you think. So without further ado, let's get started.
Love the page turn, by the way. This is like classic editing. This is what I used to do. Back in, I still do it actually. In iMovie, they have like the page turn thing. I still do that to this day. And it goes to show you, you don't need fancy editing to get more than 100,000 views. Look at this. Her video got 174,000 views of her talking to a camera because people resonate with her message. She's sharing something of value. And with that, it doesn't matter if you have page turn effects, stuff like this. You just speak from the heart.
So if you are someone who feels like everybody else has more money than you and you don't understand it, some of these people are even doing the same or similar jobs to us. And we're thinking, how are they so rich? How do they have these cars? How are they on private jets?
A lot of this I've seen is people could be spending a ton of money. Like, I'll give you a few examples. When I was working as a real estate agent, I remembered, like, once I began making about 100 grand a year, give or take, I would see people with the same income as me living it up. Like, they were driving brand new cars. They were constantly like going on these crazy excursions places. They dropped so much money on dinners. They lived in a great spot. And I'm doing the math in my head because I know how much they're selling. I could see their commissions on the commission board and I do the math and I'm like, okay, they're making X amount from this. I know they don't own any rental properties. I know they're not independently wealthy. So they make X amount here. How are they buying all this stuff? And the answer was, they spent everything that they made. Oh, big concept there. They spent everything. I even knew other people who would make a great income, 150 grand a year, $175,000 a year. They would spend every penny of it to the point where they would be down to $0 at the end of the month. Nothing. They would go and spend some extras on credit cards, knowing that, like, oh, they had a commission that was closing. They could use that commission to pay off the credit card so they could still live the same lifestyle without cutting back, as long as these deals close. And it's just like this house of cards where, yeah, sure, you could pay for it. You're not going to be in debt, but like, it goes nowhere. It's like you're running on a hamster wheel and you have to keep running just to keep it going.
All we see are the highlights of everybody's lives. Unless we know someone quite well, we don't actually see anything else about their life and their reality and their circumstances other than what we're seeing on social media.
That's very true. But I've started posting a lot of the behind the scenes on my Instagram, by the way, GP Stephan, if you want to follow me on there. I posted that I painted the garage. Huge accomplishment. I spent 3 days doing that, painting the garage, and that was a great experience. Yeah, I could have paid someone $500 to do it, but I'm like, hey, if I have a weekend and I could spend 6 hours a day on that and listen to podcasts the entire time, I did. I loved it. Stuff like that. I love doing that. Even landscaping. Did some landscaping myself. Killed my back. Ruined it for a few days. Just like digging up really like hard soil after it had rained. Pro tip, by the way, don't dig big holes after it rains because it's very heavy. I didn't think that through. But yeah, a lot of that like normal everyday stuff that you just do because it's fun or you want to save some money and just do it yourself, post it. I think it's so entertaining. I love the do-it-yourself sort of things.
How many people do you see on a daily basis posting these huge ASOS hauls, huge misguided Pretty Little Thing, Polly hauls with thousands and thousands of pounds worth of clothes? How much of that is just getting sent straight back after they've filmed the haul?
You know what they should do is really just implement a policy where if you have a certain percentage of returns, they just blacklist your account. Like, you just can't buy from them anymore. And you need an account that's linked to like a name and an address. And so if you blacklist your address, too bad. You can't get it shipped there anymore. Now, of course, people are going to find ways around that. Make it difficult. Or just issue, a store credit. Now, and it's unfortunate though, because there are legitimate reasons for buying a few different items in a few different sizes, finding the one that fits, returning the others. It's like being able to try it on in person, but nobody shops in person anymore. They do it online. Just being able to do that. And the shipping is just a cost of doing business. But yeah, when you're having like huge returns where it's obvious, track down their accounts. See, did you wear that thing? Did you post about it? You post about it, you pay for it.
I did a Q&A the other day and someone genuinely thought that my hand tattoo was fake because sometimes it appears on my left hand and sometimes it appears on my right hand. It's just the camera being flipped, okay? Sometimes I film on my front camera and sometimes I film with the back camera.
Dude, people have too much time on their hands. There's people on there and I'm one of them, okay? I'm one of them. And I'll admit, sometimes I have too much time on my hands. But these people who go on and like, oh, you did this, and then it had you flipped, and like do these huge investigations, and they write these long paragraph of comments, like, what are you doing? Like, if you just applied that to reading a book, if you just applied that to your job, if you just applied that to your marriage, your relationship, your kids, to your friends and family, you got one of those. You got something. You could apply that effort to something else and see great returns in your own life. Or you could spend all that time trying to get a gotcha moment with a person you don't know online. What's going to yield a better return? Think about that for a second. What's going to benefit your life more? Getting a gotcha, which isn't really a gotcha, on someone like her online who you've never met before. You just see their content from time to time. Or let me apply this to working a little harder at my job, learning a new skill, impressing my boss, maybe getting that raise, maybe spending some more time with friends and family, building that relationship. Hey, maybe I could take my kid out to a museum this week and spend more time with my spouse, cook dinner for him. Do something. Do something else other than, trying to come up with a gotcha on the internet. It's just silly stuff. It's like, you play silly games, you win silly prizes. That's really all it is. And I think it just takes a lot of self-restraint to realize, hey, where's my time best spent? Is this going to give me a good ROI? No, then don't do it.
People are going to a fake private jet that costs like $80 or something to have a session photographing yourself on a private jet.
So smart though. Whoever created that, genius. Genius. I mean, the thing is, I wouldn't mind like renting out anything I have for like photo shoots. You want to come, it's just, sometimes you don't want to deal with the type of person who would do that. It's like not the type of person I probably want to do business with. That's the only downside. But my gosh, if you could put up with that and make a fake private jet, it's genius.
Do you know how many of these cars and pictures of people stood next to cars are either not their car, they just stumbled upon this car.
What? She's not even sitting the right way on the motorcycle. How is she supposed to drive it like that? She's going backwards. Come on.
Stephen Bear rocked up to a court appearance where he was sent to prison for revenge, turned up in a rented Rolls Royce, smoking a cigar and wearing God knows what.
Why would he do that though? I feel like this is bad attention. Like, I know there's a saying that like all publicity is good publicity, but this to me is like not the attention you want to garner. You kind of got to think of, a lot of life is like, a game of chess, right? You got to make the moves that you think are going to lead to the best outcome. And sometimes, you're not playing with the best strategy. Like sometimes, you're going to have a pawn taken, no matter what you do. It is what it is. It's a part of the game. But when I see this is like you're going into a checkmate situation, losing. Why? Like, why would you purposely put yourself in that position? And that's what I think this guy's doing.
A lot of influencers get paid to go on holiday. That's number one. They might not have even paid for the holiday. It might have been gifted to them. They might even have been paid to take it. Yes, please.
You know what, though? I think it just needs to be disclosed. And I know, like, going on vacations and stuff like this, sometimes it's like, hey, we just want to treat you. And if you post about it, great. If you don't post about it, there's no pressure whatsoever. Some of these things I feel like should be disclosed. Like, hey, they paid for my trip to go over here and I'm having a great time. I love it. Thank you. So like just something like that. Doesn't have to be like, oh, this is, I paid that. But just like, hey, acknowledge if you've been gifted something for free or acknowledge if something is paid for that might influence someone's decision to buy what you have. That's all. I think as long as you disclose the compensation or level of compensation, you're good. Just do that. Always disclose.
You could very easily take a year's worth of photos scattered here and there on one trip. You could do a £200 weekend in Barcelona and take enough photos to post over a year and make it seem like you're constantly on holiday.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking when it comes to this. It's like when I see photos like this, I tend to think they're not always on vacation. They could be posting something from any time, and that's the post that gets the most engagement. Like, you'd rather post a photo of you in Hawaii than you would you doing the dishes. It's just like, one's gonna get a lot of engagement, one is just gonna be like, scrolled up, no one's gonna pay any attention. So when you're doing something for a business or trying to grow an account, you're gonna post the best photos. But then again, if you're the type of person where you see that and you're like, oh, I need to compete with that, so I'm gonna spend my money too, because this person went on vacation all the time, now I'm gonna do that, that's dumb.
How many times have you seen people posting shopping trips with 10 Louis Vuitton, Chanel bags, and you're thinking, my God, that's like 20, 30 grand easily of shopping in those bags, and they're doing that. What's in those bags? Is there anything in those bags?
Yeah, you could just go on eBay and buy the bags, but then again, it's like, it's stupid. The whole thing is stupid. The whole thing is stupid. People going posting photos of themselves shopping. Stupid. People looking at that and saying, oh, I should be going shopping too. Stupid. I look at that and I just think, why do you have to post that? Why do you have to post that? You are not seeing Jeff Bezos coming out of a Louis Vuitton with all of his bags that he just bought. You're not seeing Mark Zuckerberg going and like, ooh, I just got my Lambo here with the doors up. You're not finding that. Like, the more money someone has, the less they need to show their wealth. The real wealthy people that I've seen want nobody to know they're wealthy. And that was a mind-blowing thing to me. Some of the richest people don't drive anything fancy. The clothes you see them wear, even if they're really expensive clothes, there's not a single name on the clothes that you're gonna see. At the most, you might see like a nice shirt or something and it's Tom Ford, but there's no indication it's Tom Ford besides you seeing like the tag on the inside. But it just goes to show you, like, those people who really have something are generally very private about it. I think that says a lot.
If you have a YouTube channel, if you have a following, anything that you buy and that you show in your photos and your videos is an investment that you're making a profit on.
Yeah, so I've tried that a few times, like really investing in the content and like thinking, oh, if I buy this, I'll make my money back. They've almost always turned out bad. So I've done this a few times. The first time I did this was I bought an $11,000 Pokemon pack when Logan Paul did his first, box break. This was back in 2020, I believe. And 11 grand, I did the calculations. I spent days on this thinking, what are my chances of getting a holo? What are the chances the holo is going to be worth more than the price I paid for the pack? How much would I make realistically from a video? What is that worth? How much time is going to be spent on this? I did all these calculations in my mind, and I reasoned that I'd have a better chance at making money than losing money. And so when the odds were in my favor, I'm like, yeah, I could justify spending $11,000 on a pack of Pokemon cards because I know I'll make $8,000 back from the video if it does well. And then I knew the other cards in the pack are going to be worth at least $3 grand, so that's a break even. Worst case scenario, and then everything else is upside. And then I got a first edition Gyarados, which was really cool. So that alone was the cost of the pack, and then the video is profit after that. So it made sense to spend $11,000 on a pack of Pokemon cards, where normally that would never make sense. But I have lost money. And the losing money, I spent $8 grand on Tesla full self-driving for a video, because I thought, ooh, I can make a video about this. I could review the Tesla full self-driving. My Tesla videos really do well, and if I spend $8 grand, I could probably make that money back, and then I get free Tesla self-driving just for making a video for it. Great, okay? That video lost money. I spent $8 grand on the full self-driving, and then I think the video itself made $2, so I lost like $6 grand on that video. And I like rarely ever use the Tesla full self-driving. It's just so glitchy, it's bad. I don't know what I can do with it, but that's a loss. So I accept that. You win some, you lose some. There you go.
That is all of the tea that I have to spill with you today on why you really aren't the poorest person on the internet, why you really are much richer than you think and less poor than people are making you think that you are.
Yeah, so let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. And by the way, speaking of all this, I recently did a deal with Acorns, and I negotiated with them on the back end for this, by the way. that they're giving people who sign up with the link down below, I'll put it in the description, $20. Now, usually with Acorns, it's an investing app, by the way. So it basically rounds up your purchases. So when you make like, a debit card purchase or a credit card purchase, instead of, the charge being $22.34, it'll round it up to the nearest dollar and then invest that half on your behalf. So I've been using Acorns for the last like 5 years or so, and I've been really happy with them. So they reached out and I'm like, if we want to work together, you just got to give people who sign up like a good amount to actually make it worth it, not like the same $5 that they've been doing for the last 5 years. So I was able to get 20. So if you guys are interested in this and you want basically almost a free $20, that link is down below in the description. I will get a commission if you sign up, but I did negotiate to give you the $20. I'm not giving you the 20. They're giving you the 20, but I made that a condition of me talking about them, was that they got to make it worth your while. So there's $20 down below in the description if you guys want to try it out. Thank you so much. Let me know what you think of this video also, and until next time.